All right, we're on the air. Welcome to a pilot episode called Two Worlds. This is a test. Just how things are going to go down. We're going to be talking about pretty much a freestyle stories from both the United States and the UK. I'm J77 with my partner Punchy, and pretty much we're going to get started with something that has struck a chord with a lot of fans of comic books, especially after hearing some of the rough ends from the Fantastic Four, and especially with Spider-Man. I want to stay with Spider-Man more so because Spider-Man is going through a lot of transactions that have gotten a lot of fans of the series a little bit worried. And what I mean worried, I mean they wondering what the hell they're doing. Um, as you know, partner, the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, although it was a considered a blockbuster smash, still did not make any money that Sony was hoped to. In fact, out of all the Spider-Man movies that came out with Amazing, and even the first three trilogies, this was considered the lowest of the entire series. And
Which
Sony,
doesn't make sense if you ask
I
me, by the
won't.
way.
Mhm. To me is okay. There's a lot of reasons why this film did not draw well. One, I don't care what anybody says, no matter how many 3D films they want to throw out there, how many advertisements they're going to throw out there, word of mouth still holds a strong tide when it comes to these movies. You also have the fact is that Sony didn't learn their lesson the first time when they made Spider-Man 3 and did the exact same thing with
That
the
shocked
Amazing
me.
Spider-Man 2.
That completely shocked me. Did they not learn? People have been making jokes on the internet for decades about how fucked up that idea was using millions of films. Yet they just did it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really hurt them the most. But most importantly, the storyline. If you hear the critics and even moviegoers, it wasn't well fleshed out. It wasn't really well put together. And I'm going to say this right now. If it wasn't for the fact you had good star power who really put everything into this movie, anybody else who was on that script probably would have been the worst film that came out this year. And to me that's where I think the strength of this movie was you had a strong cast that actually turned a bad script passable. And to
I think
me
I
that
think
was
Emma
and that
Stone and
says a
Andrew
lot about.
Garfield absolutely show you out the park, as they did before. They are the greatest Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy couple ever. And like Gwen Stacy in the comics is like the first Spidey girlfriend, but Mary Jane is like the definitive one. And I don't care. Now for me, Gwen Stacy is because she just did it in. I don't think anyone, especially compared to Kirsten Dunst, because just way better. Way better was Gwen Stacy. Amazing. But yeah, I think the actors, they just absolutely did it in. Uh, the villains were also pretty good as well, but there were too many of them for them to shine. If they were smart, Sony would have just made it Max Dillon, the Electro, and they would have I like they would have put more story. Maybe make him a teacher or something. You know, make connect him to Parker. Do something. You know what I mean? They just kind of gave him a terrible reason. I saw Spidey once. Yay! I'm going to kill him now. It was a fairly stupid reason. I understand why he did it. I knew his motives and stuff. I understood it, but it still felt tedious enough that I felt like, for example, like he was held by like Oscorp and shit like that. They experimented on him and like all that shit. Why didn't he go after them? They did a whole hell of a lot worse than Spidey did.
Well, there's a lot of things that I liked about the second one, but there's a lot of things that I didn't like about the second one, and that really kept me from giving it a glowing review. But I will say this, that I was now convinced more now than ever that Andrew Garfield is the best choice for that role. Now there's a lot of rumblings going on that Sony wants to reboot the series again.
No, no,
And
no, 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 no. Fuck you all.
I mean, really, you messed up the first time, you messed up the second time, and your answer is let's reboot it and just start fresh from scratch. I don't know if that's the wise decision. I don't even think that they should do that. To me, look, you know what you made a mistake on there. It's obvious that the people are getting on you on that. Learn from this and give us a good Amazing Spider-Man 3, where it's original, where the ending doesn't require me seeing a funeral scene because that seems to be the running gag now. Every film of Spider-Man
Everybody
ends with somebody either
dies,
dying.
we're gonna have a funeral. Everybody dies, we're gonna have a funeral. Alright, I get guaranteed, like the third movie, if they do one, it's gonna be like at the end, Spider-Man dies, and then Miles Morales appears. That's why I hope
Well,
they do that. I hope they
I
get
don't
Miles
know.
Morales in it. I like him. Played by Donald Glover, because he's awesome.
Well, here's the thing. Sony is talking to Marvel. There is a definitely talk about they may reboot the series again. Now, to be fair, it doesn't necessarily mean reboot completely. Now, I take a perfect example of a film that was partially rebooted, but not to a larger extent. You know how directors are when it comes to their own vision. When you look at Batman and Batman Returns, that's Tim Burton's Batman. When
Mhm.
you look at Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, that's Schumacher's. They both in the same universe, but it's completely been redone
Mhm.
to the extent where it's almost unrecognizable, but it's still in the same timeline.
Mhm.
So they may actually reboot it, but not to the point where it doesn't recognize the stuff that happened in the first two.
But they don't need to
Also,
reboot it. If they're smart, all they do is recognize their mistakes and keep the character going and chuck out the shit we didn't like. You know what I mean? Maybe they could make it have be some like I don't know, like 5 years later, Spidey is in the height of his career. He's in university now, or some shit. You know what I mean? Bring us to modern day Spidey in the comics. You know what I mean? The Spidey that everyone knows and loves, that one that's teamed up with the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and all that shit. Yeah. Maybe you could use it as a way of joining it up with the Marvel Universe, which you please God should do. Sony, you listening? Do it.
well, this is something that always bothers me when with the reboots. I think Sony is panicking. They know that the reviews of this is was not great. In fact, surprisingly, Amazing Spider-Man 2, if you go by Rotten Tomatoes statistics, is lower than Spider-Man 3 is, which is kind of
No.
interesting how everybody hates Spider-Man 3, and yet Spider-Man 3 has a higher rating than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's weird,
That's
but
bullshit. Spider-Man
then again,
3,
this is Rotten
Spider-Man
Tomato we're
3 had
talking
the
about, so.
Gaz walk, the Saturday Night Fever kind of emo Parker walk. That alone shoves it into the obscenities of the world. It's among manual hands of fate at that moment. You know what I mean? It's bad. It's bad.
Well,
Some of those scary movie kind of fake horror movies. They had moments that were less cringeworthy and less funny than that one moment.
that sounds like the movie that just came out this week. um, they are. Sony don't know. I don't know what Sony wants to do right now. The Sinister Six right now is in jeopardy, and this is
I'm
after
glad.
reports
I'm
are
very
saying that
glad about that.
Spider-Man.
I don't think they should have made
Yeah,
it so early.
this is
You got two movies down. You haven't. If they'd done it properly, they would barely have a Sinister two. They can't Avengers this shit with their villains. They haven't even had them appear in one movie yet. The reason the Avengers could do it is because all the characters had definable traits and stuff like that. They were all individual characters, and they all got put in the movie. But if you think about it, the characters who didn't get individual movies got a bit shoehorned, got a bit buggered in there. Black Widow and Arrow guy, Hawkeye, they didn't get too much good in that movie. You know what I mean? They were a bit turned down. That's because they didn't get their own movies. And he just did that with a Sinister Six. It'd be bad. Probably it'd end up being Doctor Octopus and Harry Osborn taking the lead while everyone else just sits back and does damage.
well, if it makes you feel better, DC's looking to do a Suicide Squad. So, I
That
mean,
actually, I think
so
that could
who
work.
knows what they're gonna? Who knows what the how?
Nah, listen. Here's what they could do. Here's what I think they're gonna do. The Batman Superman movie comes out first. Lex Luthor's going to be in it. I guarantee Lex Luthor's going to be in the Suicide Squad. On top of that, I reckon that they could do the Suicide Squad because the members of the Suicide Squad are not big time supervillains. The biggest two you have are Deathstroke and Harley Quinn. Now, I don't think they'd use Deathstroke because Deathstroke's in the Arrow TV
That's
series.
why I want to see it.
Yeah, so I think that would actually I think it'd be good. I think with the Harley Quinn, Lex Luthor, and a bunch of other smaller villains, it could be real good. Kind of like
Well,
a
DC
secret
already made
agent
their
film.
announcement.
One announcement.
Well, DC already made their announcements. They made an announcement that they have films in the work through 2020,
Oh,
which
I've
is
seen
about
that.
time they start doing it. So
So
they
many
they, they
movies.
do they yeah, they do have a plan now. Finally, so that's a
It's a
start.
daddy of plans,
And
and oh, they've
they,
got movies coming out
uh,
all the time.
mhm. And what I like about what DC has done, and I'm not skipping over Spider-Man, we'll get back to that, but there's a reason why I'm talking about DC right here a second. They're doing it smart for two reasons. One, they're not competing directly towards Marvel because they already know Marvel has a well ahead start in terms of the playing field. They're releasing them not much of a summer date, but like a early spring date, which makes absolutely my sense. Because I'm gonna be realistic. In the last few years, summer blockbusters isn't what it used to be. And most of the blockbusters actually came before the summer even starts. So it makes sense to get that early jump start, get their film out there, and have the audience, get a feel for it. Most of the films we already know about. We already know about Captain Marvel. We also know that there will be an Aquaman movie, which they actually got a guy from Game of Thrones to play Aquaman.
I've seen that
If
Jason
you ever
Momoa.
heard, if you heard
That
about it,
motherfucker is gigantic.
the guy who,
But guess what? Yo,
the guy
listen,
who,
no one knows this. Jason Momoa is shorter than Ben Affleck. So Batman's still going to be bigger. They just got the.
mhm.
I think I get the feeling they just picked Ben Affleck because now Batman is just the most heaving, gigantic monster the world has ever seen. He could puff his chest out and like cause an airwave.
Mm.
It's, it's OP.
Well, well, I'll tell you this. There will be not one but two Justice League films they're working on. And according to the DC reports, it's going to be 4 years apart from each other. That makes sense because you get the other stars that haven't came out. The one thing they haven't said, and I'm kind of worried about it a little bit, um, I don't remember them saying too much about the a Lantern film. If they ever going to go to it, they mentioned the Flash. They are going to make a Flash movie that's not in continuation with the TV show, which I'm kind of finding interesting. They want to separate the TV show
I think they're going for
from.
a multiverse situation, like the comics. You know, the comic book multiverse. I think in some ways it's good because if you separate the TV from the movies, the TV can have a bunch of stuff happening. The episodes can intertwine all the time. Whereas if you do it with the movies, they have to move along with the movies. Anything big you do in the movie has to be reflected in that world. I feel like almost attaching it to the movies weakens it a little bit. Whereas it could, I think if you attach it to the
So
movies,
you
it
don't
could be a
mind to see it
situation.
differently.
Overall, it's weakened, but every now and then you'll have moments of fucking awesome. Like, let's say Superman appears in Arrow and Flash or something. That would be enough to blow my mind. But still, overall, it'd be worse.
Well, I'm like a person that's like, okay, they got the TV series. If the TV series work great, I wouldn't mind seeing them be have their own movie like Smallville. Out of all the superheroes series that I've seen, I thought Smallville deserved at least have one motion picture made because they had
Yes, me too.
already established that world. They established the
If
world
they made
already.
a
It was
movie of
there.
Smallville, they could have just made one Smallville movie, right? And just had it be him as Superman, just ending the series, a
Mhm.
proper finale of it, right? And I would have hugged the producers. I would have given them my first, second, and third born child.
I definitely want to see it, and I saw Superman Return, and I'm not the only one that said it wasn't terrible, but it was definitely nothing original about it.
It was a
I would have been
nostalgia thing.
seeing. I want to see how that cast. I didn't hate the film, but every time I saw it, I like Superman Returns reminded me of Superman 1 and 2. Why is that? Oh wait, because they're doing the same thing they did in 1 and 2. Oh well.
I don't know what the plan. I think the plan was to reintroduce Superman and then get an action in started in the next one, but terrible idea. We all know Superman. You never forget Superman. You could look. There's two super. If there's three superheroes in the world you don't need to do origin stories for, it's Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. We all know it. Everybody knows their stories. My dad
Well,
knows it. Like my dad hates comics.
I do like the fact that DC finally got a game plan going. They have a contingency plan. They got a lot of people. They got a lot of characters. Wonder Woman's finally gonna have her own motion picture. It's about
Finally,
time.
directed by
Um,
a woman as well, which
and
I'm 50-50 for actually. I think um, I don't want it to be too much like yay woman. I want it to be less of that. I want it to be just like wow she badass just because she badass, not because she woman. I feel like that's what makes Wonder Woman cool.
I'm
She's
hoping
cool, but
for
she's
it
not cool 'cause
because
she's a woman.
Well, like I said, I'm hopeful for it because after seeing that pilot episode that they try to do,
Oh
I hope
God,
it's in the
no!
right hands this time. I really am because
That movie was
I
awful.
don't want to see what I saw that they made.
It was
I was
bad.
terrible. So DC finally, yeah. So DC finally got a game plan. Let's just hope they stick with it, and let's just hope they don't pull the panic button, and let's just hope that they don't overdo it with the effects. Have the effects, but don't let it go overboard where it's gonna cost you more than what they originally panned out to be. Other than that, I like what DC's doing. I like the fact that they announced these announcements. And with that being said, we'll talk more about DC in the future. I'm going to go right back to Marvel. I'm going to go right back to Spider-Man because I am not going to let this one go because of the announcement that's going on now. Marvel over the past few weeks, I've been hearing a lot of rumblings from the Marvel camp. They don't have a very good relationship with Fox. Sony is pretty much don't know whether they want to continue this on their own or have a partnership. If this rumor is true that they want to match Marvel and Sony together, the possibility of having Spider-Man in not probably not the second Avengers, but the third Avengers could be in the forthcoming future. It all depends. The one thing I will say about the whole entire Spider-Man situation, I think Double Toasted. I don't know if you listened to Corey Coleman and Martin Thomas podcast show. They mentioned something that I actually got me a chance to think, and this was after we had our conversation. They saying that every company wants to have a universe. Sony, and it's evidence because of the Sinister Six
That's true.
movie. They, they want to
Sony's doing
have.
it. X-Men's doing it. Marvel's are doing it. DC's doing it. Hell, those horror movies are doing it. Annabelle exists in the same world as The Conjuring, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they want to have this Spider-Man universe, and they say point blank that nobody's asking for a Spider-Man universe. They
Well,
just
no,
want
the reason
Spider-Man.
the
They
reason
don't
you
care about
can't do a
nothing else.
Spider-Man universe is because the Spider-Man universe is all based around Spider-Man. Although the parts of the Spider-Man mythos are for Spider-Man, it's very hard to do them without Spider-Man being the guy. The reason you could have an Avengers or a DC universe work properly is because each and every character has their own story, their own kind of background, everything you can do at work with them. Whereas with Spidey, you just had to. Here's what it's like with the DC and Marvel universe. It's like having a full cake and kind of no with DC Marvel Universe it's like having cakes, lots of cakes. You know what I mean? Each cake is all its own, and then you join together to create one big mega cake. Whereas with the Spider-Man universe, there's only one cake, and to split it off into different movies would be like taking off bits of the cake. So then the whole cake gets a bit damaged, and you got a cut up cake, and you balls up the cake basically.
And you hit it right on the button. And this is something that I think Martin and Corey was trying to say is that it's not going to work because unlike the Avengers, we know the Avengers are different superheroes, and once this movie's over, they're going their separate ways. They got their own movies going on. Captain America has his own thing going on. You have Iron Man; he has his own thing going on. We have the only superheroes going on. They're gonna
They're
be,
not
and they all
restricted to each other.
exactly. You got the Sinister Six. And the announcement that the Sinister Six movie that came out, which people was like scratching their head, is
Here's a question.
Spider-Man
Here's a
may not be
question.
a
Who
factor
is
in
he
it.
gonna fight? Who are they gonna fight? Because pretty much, if it's the Spider-Man universe, they've got one person they can fight who's actually worth it them, and that's Spider-Man. At which point, it's just a Spider-Man movie from the opposite angle, which is kind of pointless, really.
But that's the whole thing. This is the thing where you just brought up. He may not be in the movie.
Then who did they
So how
fight? Who
could you
could they
have a Sinister
possibly
Six without
fight?
Spider-Man in it?
Did they fight among each other? Is it just
They
them
said it's supposed to be an
complaining?
origin story.
Pun?
They said it's supposed to be an origin story. It's supposed to be an origin story. I don't know why, but that's what the
No, no, no.
plan was
You know
to
what they're
have
doing.
these. Have,
Here's what they're probably doing. It's probably going to be a big story about how they all became supervillains and all met all had like one confrontation with Spider-Man before they lost, and then at the end it's like them on a table like we should team up to kill him, and then yeah, and then it says find out what happens next on the Amazing Spider-Man tree. That way they don't have to give the bad guys origin stories in the next Spider-Man movie. It's a cheat. It's a cheat. It's like a prologue to the next Spider-Man movie. Movie
well,
DLC.
like the way I keep getting, the way I keep seeing it, it sounds like they really don't know how to handle it properly. They want to do something big with it. They just don't know how to do it big with it. And to me, if it's one thing, if it was a team of Spider-Man, they all have their own little thing going on, fine. But you have one Spider-Man, and he's facing a whole bunch of villains, and these villains, without facing their arch nemesis, it's just what are you gonna do with them? It's like that movie that came out years ago. You know how you ever heard Rocky and Bullwinkle, right?
Yep.
They had Natasha, I think it's Boris, had their own movie without Rocky and Bullwinkle. And the
Really?
first thing I said is, well, what they gonna do? Yeah, they had their own movie. This was years ago. I think it's in the look it up. It's actually they had their own movie. The one we see in the '90s wasn't the original film. There was a movie way before then, just based on those two characters alone. But the question is, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
You're right. That's
Their
the thing.
primary function was to cause havoc towards Rocky and Boy. So you got all these villains. You're telling me that you got a villain story, and Spider-Man is not even going to be a part of the story. So what's their primary function? They exist to be Spider-Man's rival, no more, no less. Now
Um,
Venom is a different story in a many ways because you don't actually need to have Spider-Man to tell his story. He has his own journey, and some of the
well,
comic
actually,
books
there are
actually
so many
show some of
versions
his.
of Venom that you could do it. There are there are so many different characters who have become Venom that you could really pull off any story with him. And also, I think you need to give him a story because he's a big enough character that you couldn't just have him be a villain in a movie. He can become an anti-hero as well. So you need to give him his own movie to become a thing.
But what is Doc Ock's major function?
He's Spidey villain. He's Spidey villain number two. He's like just right behind Osborn essentially.
So this is the thing I don't get. This is why when they announced the Sinister Six, and I'm like thinking about it, I said, and when there was a talk about that, Spider-Man is not going to be a major factor in it. So what's the point of making this film? You can't make a film like this and not have some kind of attention. You can't make these guys good guys. There's no way.
Yeah, this
There's no
they've bitten
way.
off more than they can chew almost. It's like they've created a situation where they can't win, where they kind of want to turn something into a multiverse that just isn't one. And yeah, it's clearly it isn't paying off. It's already not working. Which actually must be worrying them that their second movie in the main franchise isn't working too well, and they want to create extra movies out of side characters. How you can do that? You can barely get the
They
main
want
series to
for
work.
what? Yeah, like I said, it's a whole lot of stuff going on with with that situation that I'm worried that they're looking at a trend, and it's something that Hollywood does too much. They're looking at a trend. They see this trend, doing well, and they figure that it can do it with everything. The reason why Avengers work is because you have all these superheroes which have their own thing coming together. The reason why Justice League could work if it's done right is you have all these superheroes, which by the way don't always get along, coming together to face a common threat. But when all is said and done, all of them go their separate ways. Right? Spider-Man, he doesn't have. There's no other Spider-Man but one. Unless you're gonna connect the Ultimate Spider-Man with, I think his name is Miles, and they come
Miles
together.
Morales.
There's no.
Actually, the Ultimate Spider-Man
Yeah,
is also Peter Parker, but he quote unquote died, and then Miles Morales replaced him. But he also came back, the original Spider-Man. I don't know what's happening with that yet. I just know he's back somehow.
well, I'm not surprised. But that's just the
In
whole
all
thing.
fairness, he was dead for like 7 years.
Yeah, but knowing comic books, they always find some way to either mess up a storyline or just
Yeah,
try to use a
it was the
promotion.
ultimate death. It was a perfect death for Spider-Man. Shouldn't have brought him back.
Yeah, I would have kept it separate though. That would have been the perfect opportunity to explore the two characters. I really do.
Oh, they are.
But,
Miles Morales is still there.
um, yeah,
That
but now you
I
gotta.
look forward
Now you got
I look
Peter Parker. You
forward
gotta
to.
worry about.
Yeah, true. They're already fighting. First comic they appear, punch each other. Honestly.
But that's the whole thing about this. Now, there is a part of me that says, okay, if Marvel gets half control, then that's actually would be for the better because Marvel's already proven they know what the hell they're doing, and even if they make a mistake like a bad film, they don't panic. They said, okay, we didn't. This doesn't work. Let's try this and let's see if we can improve on that. And they know their characters a lot more than anybody else. That's why when I hear the word Disney, and everybody always say Disney, just flexing their muscles. I don't think as much as Disney flexing their muscles. It's as much as that they got a property right now that is hot. They're not gonna mess around with that. The people who's in the Marvel division are doing what they are paid to do, what they are supposed to do, and that's give us a more fun, entertaining, yet more darker world of the comics. I
Yeah,
take the Marvel's brand over the 1980s Marvel brand any day because the way we took the comic seriously back then, it was an absolute joke.
yeah.
This is actually kind of fun to watch, entertaining, and I'm really looking forward for it. Now, with that being said, here is, and I said this to you before, if this is true and Sony is going to do a partnership, who will have the majority say? Will it be 50-50, 50-40, 40-30? This is where I got to have a problem here because you know how egos are. You know that big companies, they always want more than what the other companies want to give, and that could cause even more rift than what is necessary. Perfect example. Fox ticked off Marvel. As a result, Marvel has cut ties in terms of future comic books or anything involving the movie that Fox wants to make. And a lot of people feel that Fox really don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to the Fantastic Four. Now, I'm saying Fantastic Four because let's be realistic. Even with my feelings towards the X Men, I think they did a pretty good job representing the X Men as much as they possibly can. So I can't say
I think
Fox
I
did a
think
terrible job.
I think they did a mostly good job. They fucked up some bits. I think they concentrate too much on Wolverine overall. But I think as
Oh,
soon as
that's a
X-Men
given.
came around, they turned the shit around.
But I
Really
think
made it better with the
overall,
movies.
I think the last X Men proven that they got it right. I mean, I really felt that that was the one they really got it right because as terms of all the X Men, you just hit it right there. It felt like Wolverine kept carrying the X Men movies until he has his own movies, and that this definitely changed. But I think in this one, they really did a great job of presenting the X Men world, and the last one they had. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with Apocalypse. So Fox's reputation in terms of team comic book films is pretty decent. I don't know what to say with Fantastic Four. I don't know what they're gonna do with the Fantastic Four. I am not going nuts over some fish that is pretty much on the first production stage, but there are people who are worried. They have fired one of the directors. Um, it's just so much script rewriting and hearing the incident that I think what it was Silver Surfer. No, it wasn't Silver Surfer. It was one of the characters that Marvel wanted to get, and they Fox just simply said no. That they got ticked off and said, we're not gonna give you any more source material to pull from, and that's it. So
Wasn't it
I'm
Quicksilver?
kind of worried that may happen the same with some. I don't know his quick. No, it can't be Quicksilver because he's in the Avengers.
Yeah, but he's in both of them. Is the question.
They made an agreement that he'd be an Avenger. Yeah,
Oh.
Quicksilver and his sister. They're in the Avengers. Which, by the way, the trailer was awesome. I don't know if you've seen the trailer yet.
I did. I loved it.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I did. I absolutely wanted to see it so badly
That
that
got me.
I was sick.
That got me want to get tickets right now.
Yeah,
um,
Ultron was awesome, although very different to how I
you know,
expected.
I actually enjoyed it. Um, but I don't know what character they was looking for, but they was not happy. They wouldn't give it. So, you know how they play hardball. You won't give me what I want. I won't give you what you want. That's not simple. But that could change. I mean, that could change in a couple of months or a year for that matter. But the important thing is, this is where ego I'm concerned about. And with companies like this, they have egos. One don't want to give up too much power. One don't want too little power. And one wants to keep as much rights as possible, so that way they can make something very big. And with Sony, um, I don't know how much they're willing to give up with Spider-Man. That has the only reason why we've seen a reboot to begin with, and I think everybody have said this, is because they didn't want to lose the rights. I believe they had a
It's
certain amount of
possible.
years to make a Spider-Man film. If not, they lose the rights.
it's possible, right? And that
So
what
I
they might
don't
do is
know.
not pay, kind of give Marvel the right to use Spider-Man for a little while. And during the time that Marvel uses Spider-Man however they want, Sony gets a cut of the profits. And then after an allotted amount of time, say a contract to create, they get Spider-Man back. At which point they can reboot the franchise again. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're planning on selling them off to Marvel temporarily until they reboot.
Well, that's the whole thing. I want to see. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with this. If they reboot the series, I
I
don't think
will
they're gonna.
hate
And
that.
honestly, I don't think they're gonna reboot it to the point where it doesn't recognize the first two films, because then it'd be a waste of Andrew Garfield's time. Because he is signed for another Spider-Man film. Now, here's the funny thing: is he signed for Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 3? He is not on contract, at least to what I have saw, for the Sinister Six, which is very interesting. But he is signed on to do a Amazing Spider-Man 3 in the next few years. Now, I am curious if that happens, they reboot it. Will that contract be null and void?
Hmm. I don't know. I probably yeah. I imagine not just thought it would be. I don't think the contract matters. I think at that point they couldn't use him. I think it'd be very confusing to audiences. At least that's what they think. So they wouldn't really be able to.
Well, the best.
They kind of they'd ruin it for themselves, frankly. If they, I don't
Well,
think they should
here's
reboot it at all. If they reboot it, they have ruined it. They've fucked it up. You have the best Spidey of all time. You just need to create a proper story for him, and he'd be good.
well, like I said, I don't think they're gonna reboot it completely. I just think they're gonna go a different direction in terms of how they present the universe. Uh, I don't think I hope Andrew Garfield comes back. He did talk a lot about why the film did not do as well as Sony would hope to. He did mention some stuff about the film. The bottom line is this: your story, they got to do a better job with the storyline. They really do. When the storyline is sloppily put together like that, you can't expect too many people to have um, good feelings about it. One of the things that never made sense to me when I watched that movie is, you mean to tell me there's a bunch of guys fighting in the street with powers that is not never seen by man, and you guys gonna stand there and cheer? I'm trying to take cover. I never understood
That's
that
true.
scene.
That's true. I'm gonna run. I'm like, okay, well, just gonna get out of the way of the flying police cars. Not a not a good place to
I
really be
mean,
sitting my ass down.
I mean, there was some things like he was in Times Square where I used to work at, and I'm seeing a bunch of ladies in the background of Spider-Man dancing on the old steps where you get the tickets. I'm like, ain't no way I'm dancing. I just saw a guy just electrify himself. The last thing I'm thinking about is dancing. Get out the way, run. And people made fun of those scenes because like, what are you doing? You're watching this? The cops are shooting bullets.
Maybe yeah, maybe like this. Maybe they keep saying, look, it's in the Marvel multiverse. They're already used to alien invasions and hooks and shit. Oh, this is nothing. That might be a good excuse.
I, that was one of the scenes that always got me. I'm getting tired of the friend betrayal. Again, it's never gonna make my worst list. It was a lot of things I actually did thought they did right. I liked it, the chemistry
Chemistry was
with
perfect.
three.
Characters were perfect.
Yeah, I really thought the chemistry really made my day. I actually wanted to see more of Gwen and Peter more so than Spider-Man. Spider-Man barely was a factor in this movie.
He was, wasn't he? It was very much a Peter movie.
Yeah, it was
Not
like,
an
wow,
Andrew movie.
he was in there almost the same time as Batman was in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, it's not much Spider-Man in this film at all. Um, so I want to see them actually sit down and say, look, we need to get a better script. We can't keep doing this again, again, again. Especially when we got great actors. There is one move I'm happy that they did, and I'll say this: they actually cut Mary Jane Watson's scene from the film,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I
It
was
would have taken away from it. I feel like it would have been like Peter was eyeing up Mary Jane while he's with Gwen Stacy. I don't like that. I think it should keep
yeah,
it
they
very
didn't.
separate.
Now, a lot of people told me, well, technically, Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy was, in the same comic book together. It wasn't like they were separate. That may be true,
True,
but here's the
true.
thing.
But never Mary Jane. I don't believe was meant to be Peter's girlfriend until after Gwen died. There was
Hmm.
no signs of it either. They were just friends. And I like the fact that kind of they pulled it off enough in the comics that kind of worked. That he liked Gwen Stacy first, but in the movies, considering how short it was, he'd just be straight up. Mary Jane is introduced solely to bang Peter, and it should be a rebound then.
Hmm.
At the very least, I think
Yeah,
I'm not even sure
to
they should keep
me,
it like to the last half of the second or the next movie. They can't. I don't think they should introduce it straight away either.
mhm.
If they introduce her in the next movie at all.
Well, from what I understood, and I think the director even said this, that she's not a cameo character. Mary Jane. She's not a
Yeah.
cameo. You can't bring her as a cameo and have it disappear for the film. No, that's not going to work. You gotta. She has to be a major player in the film, not just a cameo. She's not meant to be a cameo, and I think that would have been not exactly the wisest decision to do. So I'm glad they cut it. She will. There is report that she will be back in the next Spider-Man. I'm actually curious of who they're gonna have play Jonah Jameson because I want to see this character again.
Same guy,
I know
J.K.
a lot of people say, I love the character in the original three. I thought there was, and I agreed. He's going to be hard to replace because he fit that character perfectly.
He
But
was
I
the
don't want to
character.
see Jameson reduced into email.
That was depressing. I
Oh
wanted so
man.
bad to see him. Oh, but they didn't show a damn thing. Jameson's like part of Spidey-Man. He's a big thing in Ultimate Spider-Man. They did this awesome thing where Jameson eventually realizes that Spidey's a good guy and starts helping him out. And it's a really like a really good story. It's like he understands his errors and stuff, and kind of tries helping him. He's not a comedy character anymore. He's a good guy. And I wanted to do that at some point. Like imagine if they did it. Imagine if they made it so that Spidey was Jameson existed in the first and second movie, right? After Gwen Stacy died, maybe Jameson finds out. Maybe Jameson finds out who Peter is, and maybe he finally decides to help Peter. Maybe he's part of his recovery process. Like he's the one telling Peter he has to come back. Imagine that.
Well,
Imagine the drama that come
I'm
from J.
hoping
Jonah Jameson
there is.
telling Spider-Man to return.
It happened before, so it could happen again. Um, but that's my thing about Spider-Man. I don't want them to reboot it. I just want them to finally learn from their mistakes, which is something that they don't do too much with this character. They should have understood that when I heard these villains, you wasted Paul Giamatti, which was a complete crime by
Yeah.
itself. Um, I did not care too much about the Osborn Goblin thing. The Goblin was there for one purpose. We both know what that Goblin was there for, and that was even more of a disgrace right there. Just give me a good storyline. All right, you didn't do well with this one, but learn from that one. Give us a storyline we'll never forget. And just work from there. I don't care if you bring back Octopus. I don't care if you bring back the Sandman, but don't have it the Sandman and also these three other villains that you can't do
You know what I
good
want to see?
within the game.
Here's what I want to see. I'm not sure if you've seen this comic book. It's basically, I don't think it's that big. Basically, it's this thing where Spidey is being chased by this vampire type guy. Except he kind of needs to absorb energy from spider people or something. There was some big story about how he needs to absorb energy from spider people. That was shit. But the actual good part was that this vampire type guy. He was infinitely stronger than Spider-Man. It's not that he was like the strongest being in the world, but he was just stronger than Spider-Man, and he was kind of dauntless. He didn't stop. He just constantly was walking after Spidey, and every time Spidey got too far away from him, he just started destroying cars and hurting people. That was Spidey had to come back to him. There was an entire series about Spidey kind of trying to run away from him and defeat him, and he didn't stop. He couldn't rest at all. It was just him being chased slowly and being beaten to death by this guy. I would like to see that because that would be really cool. And I really want to see that because that would require Spidey to be like on edge. It'd push him to his limit, and he'd have to be smart as fuck to take him out.
Well, let's just hope that whatever they do, they do it with the right intent and not just do it just to keep the rights or just to throw something out there. Because now, especially with the way that people are talking about this movie, people who are even diehard fans are losing patience with the way they're making movies, and that's
Yeah, have you heard
That's
what
a crying shame because they do have very
Marvel's
good loyal
actually
fans.
what Marvel's doing is I believe they've taken away the toy rights for the Sony and movies and stuff. Like they can't sell X-Men toys, they can't sell Spidey toys. I believe I'm not sure the exact details, but that's what's going on, and that's actually like doing a lot of damage because it's taking a significant hit out of their earnings. Because a lot of the stuff you get from toys, Happy Meals, selling it in shops and stuff like that for kids. Basically for kids now, all they're seeing is Avengers and stuff like that, Superman, DC stuff. The Spider-Man, X-Men stuff that's starting to disappear.
Hey,
Because of that, their movies are gonna start taking damage. I think Marvel's going. Basically, now Marvel's bringing out the big guns. Marvel wants Spidey back.
well, they definitely want it back. I think it's very clear, but I don't know. Like I said, that legal mumbo jumbo, um, that is something that I think for now Marvel's gonna have to deal with. The only way they're gonna get it back is for a partnership, and then now it's in the question of whether or not Sony wants to do that, and willing to give up at least part of control to get that done. All
True,
right, we're gonna
but
stick with the comic book world.
hmm?
Go ahead, go ahead. I mean, you have to say.
Pardon?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
No. I didn't hear what you said because there was a bomb outside or something, some kind of loud noise. Possibly someone's just been shot. Oh well.
Mhm. Well, I'll say this right now. The comic book world right now is buzzing. A lot of things is happening. And now I get to talk about a comic book movie that will probably never happen. And it's kind of sad because there was something that was brought up throughout some of the comic book waves, and I'm kind of disagreeing with them for one reason. It's because of the scare factor. It's another property owned by Fox, and it's involving the man with the mouth, Deadpool.
Oh God,
Uh,
listen. I don't care what they have to do. I don't care who they have to burn. I don't care who has to die. That movie needs to be made. That movie needs to exist. It's so good. It's the perfect movie for a comedy Marvel movie. It's so flipping good. I don't see a single way that movie couldn't be good. Especially with Ryan Reynolds, the perfect Deadpool. It'd be absolutely perfect.
I,
I'm not sure if anyone's seen that little mini trailer thing that
I,
exists, but it's so good. So good. I just want to see it. I
I
want
tell
that movie
you,
to be on my shelf.
you're excited about it. I even say I'm gonna mention why you probably never see it. At least until I think that the movie industry realized that not all characters should be made for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadpool is a R-rated character easily.
Exactly, you just hit it right there. They do not want to promote an already comic book movie in the business. Um, and they're using poor excuses because let's be honest here. I am not using Punisher as a reason why you can't make an R-rated comic book film. You can make an R-rated comic book film. You just got to make it good and promote it right. When I saw the first Punisher film, I was not impressed at all. I felt it was cheaply made. I felt there was not much effort going into the Punisher film, and the Punisher didn't really do nothing. It's hard to believe after 25 years, Dolph Lundgren's Punisher is still better than the two Punisher films that came out.
I'm gonna have to
Uh,
disagree. I liked the two Punisher movies that came out. I thought they were both good. I don't know why anyone didn't like them. I thought the first one was a bit melodramatic, but the second one I felt was real badass. Was real badass. I loved it so much, and I felt like the Punisher felt like an appropriate badass to me. That said, I think that they didn't go dark enough.
well, this is what the Fox is saying. They're saying because of what happened with the Punisher film, nobody wanted to see it because nobody came out to saw Punisher Warzone. I think the reason why many people came out to Warzone because the way they promoted it, and let's be
I didn't know
honest,
it
they
existed
didn't.
until after it came out.
Yeah, that was pretty much the last official R-rated film that came out in the comic world, at least on mainstream.
Yeah,
However, let's look at Blade. Blade 1 and 2 was very good.
absolutely.
I mean, I love watching Blade 1 and 2. I can't say much about 3 because 3 wasn't good at all. But 1 and 2 was an R-rated film, and 1 and 2 really actually set the standards for you can make a realistic, dark action comic book movie and make it work. And that's the thing I don't see. I think what it is with Fox and even with Sony and even with other studios is they want to try and promote every last comic book as a child friendly. Let the teenagers watch them.
No,
Let everybody
I
watch
think
them.
I know the problem is. I think in their mind, when they say comic book, they think it's going to go to everyone. They should get you realize that some comic books, specifically these ones, just because they call comic books doesn't mean like that. They
Hmm.
got to treat them like they're in like some other kind of source material. Like if there was if there was a book and it was just called The Punisher and it wasn't a comic book and they read it, it'd have to be an R-rated movie. Didn't know it, but because it's a comic book, they think, oh, we can get away with lightening it. They think that. I don't know why, but they do. And then they make it and it doesn't succeed and they wonder why. It's because they fucked it up. You fucked it
Yeah,
up,
well,
gentlemen.
yes, exactly. And I put a perfect example of a guy who directed The Spawn. He wanted to be a very dark, gritty, R-rated film. The editors got a hold of it and they butchered it to a PG-13, and he was furious. He was angry that they actually did that to his film because he intended it to be an R-rated movie. He intended it to be for mature adults. And let's be honest, you read the Spawn, you saw the TV series. It's an R-rated character. He's an
It is
anti-hero.
dark
I
motherfuckers,
mean,
honestly.
you can't. Yeah, there's no way you should have promoted it as PG-13, but they did it, and not only didn't do well in the box office, but it basically was denounced by a lot of people who were even fans saying this is not Spawn. What have you done? Batman they got away with. There's no question. Even though, let's be honest, the Dark Knight was dark as hell and it wasn't really kids
Yeah.
friendly at all. But they got away with it. I mean, they really did. I mean,
So
and
she
Tim
got
Burton,
away
to
with
his
it.
credit,
I
he even
can't defend
said
it.
in his own, yeah. But this is the thing that really bothers me with Fox. Wolverine, I'm gonna tell you right now, should never be a PG-13 character.
I kind of agree. I think it
Do you
could be
agree?
in the confines of an X-Men movie. You can make him one. If you're going full Wolverine though, if you're gonna go full live up to Wolverine's reputation in a separate Wolverine movie, then you can. You're gonna have to go dark because I mean the very nature of his weapons dictates that he's gonna have to kill some motherfuckers and it's gonna be brutal. But I
Hmm.
think in an X-Men movie they could pull it off. Like the Wolverine from the X-Men movies now. He's still quite brutal, but I think he's still kind of pull it off enough for it to get away with it. But if they went full like Wolverine Origins would have been way better if they pulled off like the kind
Yes.
of the children's lens and just made it badass, just made him go brutal because it would have been just infinitely better. Imagine him just ripping the shit out of people. Good God, that would have been good. Just taking off Colonel
But
Stryker's
that's the whole
arm.
thing. I mean, there are some characters that, like Wolverine to me, when I saw Wolverine, I said, okay, this is it's PG-13. Let's see where they go. I'm gonna tell you, when I saw X-Men Origin, I was into it. I
I
said, okay,
liked it
this is gonna
too.
be good. And then as the film kept going, I said, "Oh man, they did a lot of things wrong with this film."
Yeah,
But
you
the
know what
one thing
you
that
know what they fucking
killed
done?
it for me was you totally ruined Deadpool. I
Oh
mean, wow.
no, don't please don't remind me. Deadpool was good up until the moment they changed him though. Ryan Reynolds played him good, but
Yeah,
he wasn't perfect, but he was kind of I feel like he should have done more. But at the same time, they played him alright. But then they turned him into a thing, and I was just fucking enraged. Bastards.
everybody was. But this is the thing about it. I felt they was trying to keep that PG-13 rating too much, and I think you know what? Sometimes you just gotta go R. You just have to. The one character I never in my life thought I was that should never been a PG-13 was Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider,
What
I
the
read
fuck
his
is
comics.
that? Dude, Ghost Rider's awesome. He should never be. He should be the most on PG-13. He goes after the worst of the worst. If he's fighting someone, they are literally hellbound. They deserve to be horrifying, and they need to be horrifying. Yet they don't, and they make it so that all the enemies are kind of just eh. Even the
Exactly.
devil is
To
big.
me, this is but this is the problem that a lot of the studios are dealing with. They don't want to put Deadpool out because there's no way they can make a Deadpool. I don't care what tactic they're gonna do. You're not gonna make a Deadpool PG-13. It's not happening. It's not possible. All right. He is a violent character. He's not even a superhero. He's an anti-hero. All right. He'll go after anybody. You pay him money, he's going after you. All right. That's all there is to it. He
Exactly.
Now I seen the test footage, and I love the test footage. I think the test footage was actually really good. I can see why how Ryan Reynolds will make this character work. He got the voice for it. He got the smash mouth for it. And it made me want to say, can we please have Deadpool right now? I mean, but they won't do it because there's no way that they can make a Deadpool film without making it R, and they feel that if they make an R-rated comic book film, it won't sell.
But I
I
think it,
disagree. I think it can
yeah, so
sell.
I think it will as well. I think they just need to make it good. It won't sell if it's bad, and that's pretty much all they need to know. Bad movies don't sell, not dark movies. The reason the other dark movies didn't sell isn't because they were dark, it's because they were bad, or
Mhm.
at least poorly advertised.
And this is the thing. Exactly. And this is the thing I think that Fox, I think mostly every company, every studio needs to get over. Need to understand that, hey, people will watch your film if it's promoted right, if they see something that represents the character they have followed for the comic books or on the TV show, they will follow it. But if you give them something that you just basically phoned it in and did it for a cash grab, the majority of the fans will stay away. And in terms of comic books, it's about the fans more so than it's about the general audiences. The general audience will go if word of mouth says, "Oh no, well, this film is great. You got to see, check it out." Then they say, "Okay, I'll go see it." But if there's no general audiences talking about it, or like the fans talking about it, and they're talking to their friend, and then his friends ain't talking about it, it's not going to gain that traction. I'll give a perfect example: Sin City 2.
Nobody
This
watched
is
that.
Oh my God! It was the biggest bust of all time, and the reason why is word of mouth didn't travel. It didn't
Nobody
travel. Nobody
watched it.
nobody cared for it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it even. I don't think anyone even wanted it to
And
exist. It was unnecessary.
it and it was just too late. I mean, it came out too long.
That
But
too.
this is the thing that Fox doesn't want to do. They don't want to put their money in a film that they know they can't make into a general audience film. And I think not nothing with the rating, but just in fact that anybody can see.
It's the
Deadpool
thing.
is
They're
not
trying
for
to make it.
everybody.
They're trying to make it taste good to everyone. But in doing so, they've added too many flavors and it tastes like shit.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I think. And look, I give Fox credit for one thing. At least they're being honest about saying, hey, we don't think we can promote this to everybody. Of course, you're not gonna promote it to everybody, but I think that if you're not gonna do nothing with the character, could you kindly sell it to someone who will? I
That's
don't
true.
mind.
Give it the fuck back.
Yeah, give to me. That's characters collecting dust, and there are people talking about Deadpool. I love some of the Deadpool fanfics that's out there. It's actually kind of cool that I actually want to see fanfics and how hilarious these guys are and how much they capture the Deadpool character. Um, I really learned a lot about the Deadpool just by the fanfic alone. Um, so there are people who are very, very, very into this character. Just give it to a studio that wants to do it, that is willing to take the risk of making an R-rated character. And I guarantee you, if it's promoted right, if the trailer shows exactly what people want for it, it will make money. I think that's the whole thing. Don't be afraid to put an R-rated comic book film out there because some films are meant to be R-rated, not PG-13.
Absolutely, I agree. I think that's pretty much the problem with comic book movies now these days. They don't branch out enough. They kind of just want to stick to the main ones that everybody knows, and that's it. And that's. Oh, first it's good, but now it's becoming a problem. I mean, like I said, they even had problems making a Wonder Woman movie. They've finally done it now, but still. Yeah.
There's been a problem with that for like years, and a lot of people touch on it. But now, I'm hoping they do it. I'm hoping that we see a lot of other comic book characters come out. I also want to see some indies out there. I want to see indies get a chance as well. So it's the time is right. I mean, the comic book industry has evolved to now they're not stuck in just on the pages. Now they're coming out there. I think you've got to continue going forward, especially when it's proven that if you give a good old fashioned film with a good story, people will come and see it and will watch it. Even those who are not comic book fans.
Absolutely. I think people. I think the people in charge need to realize that comic book movies don't call them. In fact, don't even call them comic movies. Just call them movies, right? And realize that they can be good no matter what. That you just if you make the movie good, you people watch it. It doesn't matter. You can't. You don't necessarily need to make it apply to children for it to be good. Avatar wasn't necessarily a children's movie. It was good. There was like lots of movies. Skyfall, not necessarily a children's movie, was good. It's like they could really make it good. And even if they don't make it R, at least like make it 18 or something. You know what I mean? At least like really kind of make it a bit darker. Give us some blood. I think most importantly, just don't fuck with the story. If you get a good story going, don't make it so that your censors can fuck it up. Because I feel that's what's going to happen.
Oh, so true, so true. Alrighty. We need to get away from the comic book talk. Very good comments there. We got to touch on a lot of stuff from DC and Marvel, mostly Marvel still, but DC, as the weeks and months go along, we definitely will keep you updated, especially in Comic Book Talk 360. I'm going to start with your end of the world. How is things going on in UK? Is there anything interesting that's happening in the entertainment world there that you'd like to share with us?
Nothing. It's all boring here. Belandi's balls. Nothing is happening.
No concerts that's coming out?
Concerts? I don't. Probably. I really want not paying enough attention to concerts. I'll be completely honest with you. Um, Nothing as far as television or movie entertainment that I know of. I feel like I know that Utopia is getting cancelled, which is depressing because apparently that's
Oh,
a really good
really?
TV show. Yeah. For the American version apparently, um, which is enraging. Thank you, America. Thanks for that. Uh, so no, that's the one bit of news
Wow.
I've got.
And how's the Sherlock series, though? Is it going to come back to the on the UK?
Oh, absolutely. The Sherlock's always they ain't gonna end that. That's fucking awesome. It's consistently the best thing ever.
Now, is it going
Like
to be a
seriously,
2 year thing, or is it going to be?
I believe they
'Cause
they make
I
it
don't
a
know, it took
2 year
2
gap.
years.
Yeah, it's every 2 years, 3 episodes each. Um, I don't know. I think they're gonna make it so that like bloody Benedict Cumberbatch is actually old and grey by the time they end it. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. And
I
also,
wouldn't mind that.
yeah, I think it'd be good. And also, last bit of news. I think Doctor Who news. I guess. Doctor Who's going well. The new Doctor is perfectly good. I think he's actually extremely interesting. He's an amalgamation of it appears of several older Doctors. He's like if the classic Doctors all joined together and create a
Oh,
big
cool.
grumpy super Doctor. And yeah, he's actually really good, and his stories are amazing. And I think this is the first time Clara Oswald, in fact, this is actually she's I believe she's become the best companion of all time just because she's become so characterful now. She's got her own story, she's got her own life. She's independent. She kind of helps out a lot. She very rarely is a damsel in distress anymore, and she goes against the Doctor, which is rare. She goes against him. She disagrees with him a lot, and I like that. The Doctor isn't
Fun.
perfect, and that's good.
About time we got that. Well, here's the thing about this. Now, this is what the 12th or 13th Doctor. I'm losing count here. It's like
He
James
is the
Bond. You
he
got to
is
know
the
what number.
13th actual regeneration, but the 12th Doctor, because one of them did not call himself the Doctor.
You talking about the movie version?
No,
Is that the movie one?
I think there was I believe it was first through seventh were all TV Doctors classed from the classic series. Then there was the eighth Doctor, which is the American TV movie Doctor. He's actually canon. He exists.
And nobody
And
counts that one.
no, everyone counts that one now. He's an actual Doctor. Uh, then there's the new series, the ninth, the 10th, the 11th. The eighth Doctor, the one from the TV movie. There's actually a special on the BBC channel called I think Night of the Doctor, which is a prologue to the Day of the Doctor movie, which shows the eighth Doctor, the one from the TV movie, he regenerates into the War Doctor, who is a Doctor who doesn't want to call
Yeah.
himself a Doctor because his sole purpose is to do damage. He needs to do something horrible to save the world, and so he doesn't believe he should be called the Doctor. So that's the one. That's the
Now
one
I
who's not
heard
called the Doctor,
I,
though he does exist.
that's the one. That's the one I actually I find very interesting because I think he did it for 3 years. The actor, he doesn't. He was the one that didn't want to do an actual an actual anniversary series. He actually wanted to stay away. Is there a
Oh,
reason for that?
you mean Christopher Eccleston?
Did he had a problem with the producers?
Yeah. Basically, the original situation around Doctor Who when he was playing apparently wasn't very good or he didn't like it. I mean, it's questionable because he says that it was bad. They say he was bad. We don't know the actual answer, but whatever happens, there was bad blood there. And whilst now it's entirely different, the cast, everything is all massively different. He still doesn't want to return, and so he chose not to, which is a little annoying, frankly. He buggered up a little. But then again, I'm fine with it because I feel like the 10th and 11th Doctor, Matt Smith and David Tennant, are by far superior to him. and with him gone, they got to shine even more. They got more time. I think that was good, worth it.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that because they said that he actually he can. You know how they say each doctor play their own style, their own way. That's something I always hear from a lot of
Yeah, but the
people who
ninth
are
the ninth
fans of
Doctor
Doctor Who.
was
Dwayne
like a
Johnson actually brought that up too.
yeah. If
And
I think of
yet,
an example, the Ninth Doctor is a lot like a vet. He's a post-war vet. The Tenth Doctor is kind of a like a cool, quirky guy who's actually quite kind of dark. He's like, oh, I'm so funny. I'm gonna rip your eyes out. That kind of guy. Whereas the 11th Doctor he's an eccentric. He's a wise, old-hearted nutter, and he has fun with everything. And the 12th Doctor, the new one, he's the mature one. He's matured properly. He's become one with who he is. I think a little bit more. But on top of that, he's a lot darker. He's like at one point, out and out threatens the guy like, you know, uh, does this have to end with me killing you? Because I will. Don't question how far I'll go for these people, and that was pretty deep. Like he was basically he's come to terms with himself, and he knows he's willing now to do dark things to save people. And I believe his mission now, his general mission is to go back and fix shit he didn't finish. Basically, is what he said. And so far, it's playing out a lot like that, and I quite enjoy it. Good.
now my question now, because I've seen one of the episodes of some of the Doctors. Um, is is the fan base? Because I got a feeling that the same thing with James Bond. Not all the fan base will follow each Doctor. Like they say one will follow one, but will not follow the other. Is that because they each one of them is so different from each other that you can't even compare the one to the other?
No, you can't compare them very easily. The Doctors are not okay. The Doctor regeneration cycle is pretty like clouded in mystery, but a lot of people there's been a theory out there that I think has pretty much figured it out. Each Doctor is what the last Doctor needed to be when he died. Like the Ninth Doctor he was angry, dark, and quite soldiery. When he died, he wanted to be younger, youthful, happy, fun. He wanted to be cool in the eyes of Rose, his companion. And so he became the Tenth Doctor, who was cool, happy, fun, kind of, but still retained those dark qualities of the last Doctor. They're kind of like a halfway marker. You know, he was half that, half old Doctor. Then the 11th Doctor wanted when he developed the other Doctor. When he died, he didn't want to be alone anymore. He didn't want to die. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to stop being so serious. So the next Doctor came along. He was fun, happy. Wasn't very serious most of the time, but he was powerful. He kind of, but his weaknesses then retained from the old one basically because the old one didn't want to be alone when he died. He didn't want to be alone either. He was manipulative. He wanted his companions to always be around him. He was quite a narcissist in some ways, and because of that, all the Doctors are connected. You can see the personality of the last leak into the next, and what tends to happen is they kind of those personality traits die out, and by the time the Doctor finally regenerates, he's his own Doctor in the end. So
Okay.
it's not like there's yeah people do have their own favorite Doctors. I personally I have one who has chosen Matt Smith as my favorite, but I find it perfectly easy to like the rest of them. I think the only one I don't really like is the Knight, Christopher Eccleston. I feel like
Hmm.
he was too soldiery. I didn't like that. I felt like he didn't feel like a doctor to me. He felt like a suit shooty guy. The rest of them, though, I all like. Matt Smith is my favourite. The Lieutenant used to be my secondary, but now I believe the 12th is my secondary because he's an entertaining, good new twist on it all. And he kind of reminds me of all the old Doctors, the classic Who Doctors, joined together.
That's cool. Now my question is that help the series have a longevity, having these different actors play Doctor Who? Is that the real reason why this series is still going strong? Now I know they canceled it, but the fan base was so strong they eventually they brought it back. And do you feel that was the main reason that it wasn't the same actor? It was different actors, very
Actually,
good
okay.
actors.
The reason the regeneration started is because the original Doctor, William Hartnell, he was old. He was too ill to continue playing the Doctor. He couldn't manage it. He was incapable of it, and because of that, they had to find a replacement. Originally, they were going to go with just a new face, pretending the same guy thing, but someone eventually came up with the regeneration idea, and I think over time it became clear that each regeneration, though it looked new, could be a different person, and each different person would allow the stories to be different. So it's like every time you run out of stories for this type of Doctor, every time you kind of feel like his story arc is complete, you regenerate him and you start a new character with new flaws, new positives, and you see their story unfold. And it is marvelous. I mean, you don't know. It's like if fucking Batman became Batman
Hmm.
again every couple of years, and each one was just as good as the last, but just slightly different. You know what I mean? It's like it's amazing, and I feel like it's become such a situation. This is why Doctor Who I think has so many fans now. When you become a fan of a Doctor, you don't necessarily stop watching. After that Doctor goes, you keep watching, and you like the other Doctors too. Because of that, it's like different kinds of bait. Like, oh, would you like serious Doctors? Well, I've got a Doctor for you. Oh, do you like funny ones? I've got a Doctor for you. And everyone's got a Doctor, and so because of that, you get involved. The more fans join each turn, they kind of stay there and kind of stay along for the ride. And it is actually, I think, it is causing it to last longer than it otherwise would have, because stories get better, the characters change. Sometimes the characters could get worse. I mean, in theory, that's the thing that could happen. But overall, the characters get better and the stories get better, and more people are like fans of the last Doctor stay on to watch the next Doctor, and more fans gather. It's like a rolling stone gathering extra moss.
Now, according to many people who are deep into the Doctor Who's lore, they say claim that there was never a bad Doctor from all generations. Is that true?
I disagree. Uh, Let me look. I forgot the. I know what he looks like. He's the blonde. I believe he's the sixth Doctor. Let me see. Okay, let's see. I'll look at a picture because I need to make sure.
Is that the one with the question mark?
I think so. Let me see. Yes,
That
Sixth Doctor. The Sixth Doctor is the one with the patch coat and the multiple colours, the blonde hair and stuff. He's a dick. He's the Dick Doctor. He's I mean, yeah, his character makes sense, I guess, but I always felt like he was just a douchebag. From what I know about him, from what I watched about him, he just is never really great. He's the worst of the Doctors, I believe. Although he's not awful, he's just the worst of the Doctors.
but it's funny though because they said that he had the best companion.
Exactly. There we go. That's the thing, because like I said, Doctor Who changes all the time. Sure, I didn't like that Doctor. Probably some people did. If you ask anyone the same question of who their favorite and worst Doctors are, you'll have a different answer. Like even the companion
That's
thing,
cool.
that's not
That's
definitive.
probably one of the things. Were you with the movie version? Did you felt that they should have at least made it or tried to attempt to make it to a TV series, and give that Doctor at least a chance to get like
It's
some
weird.
seasoning in terms of not only the American actors or the British actors?
Here's the thing. In the
'Cause I didn't
movie,
even know that movie.
in the movie, that Doctor was okay, but he wasn't great. I don't think you should have made it into a TV series. It wouldn't have been that good. I do, however, think that later on, because when I saw the Night of the Doctor TV special, the prologue to the Day of the Doctor, you see that Doctor appear again. The movie Doctor appears again. He transforms into the War Doctor, you see. And what you see of him, you realise that actually he's really good. I actually think they should do a prequel series for that Doctor to show us more of his existence because he's actually quite good. Back then, though, I don't think he would have been good. Basically, they waited the exact amount of time they
You're
needed.
saying that the TV series. Okay. Now,
I would say if they were smart, they would have
I,
started the rebooted series with him.
mhm. I just find it fascinating because I know that a lot of people are still encouraging me to watch Doctor Who. I have
Here's the thing.
no idea
Here's the
where to
thing.
start. I mean,
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right
and
now.
it's like,
I personally, I introduced my girlfriend to it as well, and I said the same thing. Now, a lot of people like their own Doctor, but I personally feel like you might as well bypass the Ninth Doctor. So I think you should bypass the first season of the new series. But to make sure, you should watch the first two episodes of the first season. If you get into it, keep watching. If you don't, bypass the first season, watch the last episode of the first season and the first of the second. That way, you'll see the death of the first Doctor and the birth of the next one, and you will then understand. You'll then have choice. I personally think the second Doctor, the 10th Doctor, David Tennant,
all
I personally
right,
think he's
well,
entertaining enough that you will like him. Anyone will really. Whether he's your favorite, that's debatable, but you like him and you'll get into it then definitely. But you need to watch the first one a little bit just to determine whether he's your because a lot of people don't believe he is. He's like the kind of the underdog really. Not many people like him as much. Generally, the fandom is split between Matt Smith and Tennant, and so that's why I'd say
okay.
Try the first. Try the Ninth Doctor for the new season. If you don't like him, bypass him. A lot of people did. He's only got one season anyway, so there's not much you're missing. But you will miss the introduction of Rose and some key characters. But you
One,
kind of
that's it.
yeah.
Uh, Now, what's your feeling on the spinoffs? Because I know they had like a couple spinoffs. One
Spin-offs are
people just
almost
hate with
all
the
for
with the
children.
robot dog. I think everybody seems. I have never seen somebody say this was a good spinoff from the Doctor Who series.
No, but see, you got to understand the children offer the spin-offs are for children. Like absolutely all for children. They're like CBBC children shows. The kids watch it, my sisters watch it, and they love it. And it's not actually bad. It makes kind of sense. It's a bit weird sometimes, but it's good. And sometimes I believe they once they had a, I believe, no, I believe twice they had a crossover with Doctor Who. Once was David Tennant. I don't remember that episode too well, but once was with Matt Smith, and that was really good.
And
It
what
isn't
about the
actually that bad.
companion? The one of the companions had their own.
Sarah Jane Smith.
So they had like two. Yeah, I think they had two spinoffs. I don't know that that's the one I heard about. So spinoffs are not that bad. One is for children, and one is her own thing. So
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not great. They
which
don't
is
live
kind
up
of
to Doctor Who
surprising.
levels, but they're mediocre. They're good enough, especially for the target audience. They'll do basically. There's nothing to really hate
Hmm.
about them.
So in the
They do
UK,
struggle with identity issues though, because a
how
lot of
is
the
the
characters are mixed between the classic series and the modern series. Because basically, a lot of the characters are connected with the older Doctors in the classic series, which makes it weird because they have knowledge and they have like weaponry and a dog, obviously, from the classic series. Whereas they exist in the world of the new series, so there's a lot of the new Doctor stuff going around, so it kind of feels weird. It's like it just kind of feels a lot
Mhm.
like the 70s meeting the 2000s. You know what I mean? And you know it's that. That's what a lot of people are probably complaining about. It's odd sometimes.
Well, I'll say this that the Doctor Who has a very long history. Um, is I think it's like pretty much right there up with the James Bond world. Which brings me to the final question of my education with Doctor Who. During the time when Bond was still coming out, there was a big frenzy. There were comic books that's not tied into any of the movies or Ian Fleming's toys, trench coats that had that. Um, and I just found out I was talking to myself. Yeah, we just had a nice conversation. My partner will be back shortly. Had to take care of something
Uh,
real quick.
I'm still
Glad
here.
he
I'm here.
messaged me real quick for that.
I'm still here. No, I gotta
Let you
go in
say back
five
in 5
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, not back in
um,
5 minutes. I've got to go in 5 minutes. That's fine.
okay, no, okay. So
No,
we're
we'll
gonna
finish
we're
this.
gonna
We'll
go.
finish this subject here.
We'll finish this. I'll say this about this. I'll just get right straight to because you are on a time on a time limit now. How is it with the fan base in the UK? How do they celebrate this? And how important was the Doctor Who series in the UK? Not in the UK, just in television in general. How important was this series?
E- In the classic series, it was very important, but the kind of its reputation faded, and it became a very much a nostalgic type thing. But in its starting years, it was very much a big thing. But after it was cancelled, it kind of disappeared from consciousness for a while. But it became something that a lot of older people, a lot of kind of people who watched it, had in their memories. You know what I mean? It's like it's the show they watched when they were a kid. It was their Dragon Ball, the stuff that kind of made up their childhood. So no one really forgot it, but people did start talking about it. When a new season came, the new series came, people kind of started talking about it again, and within I think 2 seasons, it became the thing everyone knew about again. It was the older generation knew about it from when they were kids and started watching it. The new generations loved it. Everyone loved it again, and everyone started talking about it and remembering it. It's become very much intertwined with British TV and culture. It's become very, very big. There isn't anyone who doesn't know about it. There isn't anyone who doesn't haven't at least seen some episodes of it. It's the people making jokes about it that have no connection to it. It's become. I think something's funny when it's in comedian when it appears in comedy panels and shows like that. I think that means people know about it. That this guy's willing to place a joke on it, and the guy did. That happens a lot, and so I think it's become like that. It's big now. It's very much in the cultural mind. Although it just like I said, disappeared for a while, and it came back slowly, but it came back in full spirit. And now I think it's here permanently. I think it's really rooted itself back in its in British culture.
That's great. Well, I'm telling you right now, I don't see Doctor Who going anywhere anytime soon.
I really hope it
I
doesn't.
have to.
I really hope it doesn't.
I don't
I
think it's
only
going.
met someone. I need my daily dose of
If
Doctor.
you got the stories, they have people going through talk shows and stuff, so they're not going anywhere. This is like the James Bond of television, and I'm happy for it. I heard about it years ago. I didn't know what it was about until I got online, and then everybody talked about it like it was like the biggest thing in the world. I
If I
don't
had to give you an
think
example, Doctor Who actually, I think this has helped a lot of people who haven't seen it. Doctor Who is actually kind of like Harry Potter for sci-fi. If you think about it like that, that kind of helps people.
I agree.
It's got a
I
similar
agree.
theme
But
and
it's been around
way of
longer
being.
than it's been around longer than Harry Potter, though. I mean,
Yes, yes,
it's been
but
around
a
a
lot of
lot
people know. A
longer.
lot of people in America specifically know about Harry Potter more than they do Doctor Who. So if you think about it like that, the theme and the feelings you get from Harry Potter, think about that with Doctor Who, except it's science fiction.
Well, I definitely will. I'm gonna give it a shot. I will buy a series in Barnes and Noble because they have a good relationship with the BK distributors, so I can actually get something that I want. That's actually it's in the UK. So I'm very looking forward to seeing what's the big deal all about. It may take me some time, but I'll definitely will check out at least one season of the Doctor Who and get my own
Absolutely.
feelings towards that. Well,
Like I said, what you should do
I'm gonna
to
let
make
you
sure you enjoy is
go.
watch the first episode of the first season of the new Doctor Who. If you think you like that Doctor, keep watching. If at any point you get bored of this Doctor, fast forward to the last episode of the first season, watch him die, and that will entertain you greatly because he's horrible. Uh, and then watch you go to the next season's first episode and move on from there because that will help you. I know I hate the Night Doctor a lot, and it makes it seem like
I'll
I hate him.
definitely
He's
keep
not
that in
actually that
mind.
bad. I feel
Before
like
I
he's the
go,
best.
before I go, do you have like a podcast or anything you're gonna be working on that people want to check out?
Oh yes. Right. Recently, I've started a proper channel called the Question Mark Podcast. In it, we will be doing a podcast, Question Mark Podcast. Obviously, we'll be talking about literally anything that entertains us. Man, my voice went. Um, the actual contents of it are pretty much a question mark. Yeah, see, it's a question, so it's a question mark. Um, we'll pretty much talk about whatever we want. We're going to be inviting guests on to, essentially talk about what they want as well. Just have it as like a free, kind of happy place to just chill out and talk nerdy shit. We're also going to be having random attempts at playing games, probably shitty games, very small attempts to see if we can do anything. We will fail on every given occasion, but it'll look good and it'll hopefully be funny when we do it. So give it a check. That's the Question Mark Podcast, YouTube. Subscribe.
All right,
Subscribe to this one too, by the way.
and and fast for this podcast here, this is a pilot test episode. We will be this going for the first episode shortly. Pretty much soon. It's gonna pretty much stay the same. We're gonna do some two more part test runs to see which one work, which one don't. But as far as the time and date, there is no time and date yet. I don't want to put a time and date the next day. No, we can't do it. But as soon as we get a time and date, I will let you know in the future episodes. But for now, guys, this is J77 along with my partner, Punchy,
Punch.
saying take care. All
See
right.
ya.
Take care. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.